into pro wrestling we go. AEW had a pay-per-view of their own on the weekend, and the reviews, all positive. Maybe not. But there's certainly a lot to talk about coming out of AEW Dynasty, so let's do that, shall we? AEW Dynasty went down on pay-per-view last night, and the Young Bucks are back in our lives. I can understand not wanting to be patient with this story now, right? Because it's the Death Riders thing was just such a drag for so long. And now this seemed like an optimal time to get out of it. You have Swerve Strickland, who is on fire again. A guy who has proven he can be the guy in AEW. He is riding a wave of momentum. You have an obvious opponent in Hangman in the Owen to get a title opportunity at All In, a show that you are struggle bussing to sell tickets for. And you have one of the hottest rivalries your company has ever seen that you could put at the very top of that. So you can understand why people were thinking this was the time to just, you know what, this story hasn't worked, let's just cut and let's just move on. Instead, we doubled down with a version of the Young Bucks that no one was really excited to have back, coming off of a story of their own that had a wildly unsatisfactory conclusion. And so you can see where people would not be patient with this one. I think AEW supporters would say, like, look, we are now getting into Act 3 of whatever this was supposed to be. And it's really going to ramp up from this, right? Like, I think you're going to have the Young Bucks trying to take over AEW and the Death Riders trying to change AEW by taking it over. And it's going to combine into one thing there. And so I can see where this is maybe starting to pick up a little bit now, but given how underwhelming this whole thing has been, it is a little deflating to have it play out kind of in that way. Another part of this, I don't love Swerve and Hangman burying the hatchet. And I know that happens on Dynamite with the I know I deserved it and all of those sorts of things, but like, I understand it's wrestling, and in TV shows that this happens a lot, but like what these guys, like one guy broke into another guy's house, and then another guy lit the other guy's house on fire. And then in the match, they both tried to, if you are just suspending disbelief and just watching what you're watching, kill each other. Like it was moved pile drivers onto cement blocks and were sticking needles through mouths into the other side of mouth and through mouth again. Like, and a chair shot that just echoed throughout the entire place. Like, keep those guys as rivals, you know? Like, they can both be good guys at the same time, but they don't have to be best friends. We can just keep them as rivals. And just to bury the hatchet so quickly, where the only inciting incident was, like, John Moxley is being a dick. I feel like it's too soon. I feel like it's with not enough to kind of get people back, like, buying into it a little bit. It just seemed like it didn't take much to push these guys into that. And you can sell, like in a lot of times, like after hockey playoffs, right? There's the handshake line after. It's, oh, well, the respect you earn after going through something like that. But I feel like, yeah, going through some of the battles those guys had, maybe you can sell me on the respect thing. I think you lose some of it when you stab a needle through my face. That might just be me, though. Maybe I'm just too petty. Like, overall, that match was fine. And you really got people buying that Swerve was going to win that match, for sure. Omega and Okada, we keep getting the teases there. I think you have to combine those championships. Like, it's too many belts in AEW right now. And with no clear hierarchy of any of them right now, it's not great. So I think you have to kind of limit all of that, honestly. And so I think combining those two would be very, very good to do. And obviously that would be a really fun match to do at All In. And this was a fun match. It was a sprint of a match. It was really fun. I have to say, and I understand why people are into him. I'm not a speedball guy. And that is understanding, like, what he can do in the ring is spectacular. But you look at the debut, and he comes out, and he's holding the mic really weird. And it's the t-shirt tucked into the sweatpants. And I know, like, a lot of this is going to sound like well, you don't look like a wrestler, because you got to be juiced up, and where's the tan, and all that stuff. Like, I don't want to be that guy. But I do have my limits. And I just, for whatever reason, Speedball is it. He did, like, there's nothing about him looked like, oh yeah, this is the guy who is going, like, Kenny Omega, you know, looks like a wrestler, I would say. Some people would even push against that, but Kenny Omega looks like a wrestler. Best Belt Machine has had some of the best matches the world of professional wrestling has ever seen, and maybe the greatest rivalry that pro wrestling has ever seen. And then you got this guy coming out again with the shirt tucked into the sweatpants, and he's standing weird, and he does like a crane kick thing. It's just, for whatever reason, that's where the disbelief ends. And if you like him, go nuts. Because I can understand where people like him. He had the WrestleMania year a couple of years ago where he just wrestled every show somehow, and the ones that are happening at the same time, he's just doing it, and every match is awesome, and like he's incredibly athletic and puts together matches really, really well. But there's just some about him that it stops, the clicking stops right there for me. Otherwise, Ospreay against Kevin Knight was amazing, as you would expect. Adam Cole winning the TNT championship from Daniel Garcia, like that just did nothing for me. That whole feud, I was kind of waiting for it to okay, this is where I'm gonna, and it never clicked with me at all. And nothing with Adam Cole really has. Like, that devil storyline really just killed any momentum he may have had. And then they tried to make it make sense coming back, and then the way they handled that was so bungled. And it's just, Adam Cole has never felt like more of a mid-carder than he has at this point. Even when he was first coming in, and it was Future Shock, right, with him and Kyle O'Reilly, and they're the white meat baby faces. Even then, they didn't feel as mid-card as Adam Cole feels right now. This is not a great spot that he is in. And that TNT title, that doesn't mean shit right now. Again, speaking to the oversaturation of titles in this company right now. But like overall, like this didn't have the same feel as an AEW pay-per-view did for me. Like, you look at Revolution last month, and that is one of the best pay-per-views I think ever. When it's a classic AEW pay-per-view, and it would have been 10 out of 10 no notes if they would have ended that show with Toni Storm against Mariah May. But this one, it didn't have that, and like Toni Storm was still entertaining, and I was a little worried about what this character was going to be like outside of this universe. But all the promos with Bane, who I think just has superstar written all over. The one shot from Collision where Penelope Ford comes in with the boot and just interrupts everything, that was perfect as well. Absolutely loved that too. So I just think that like Toni Storm right now is, I don't have a whole lot else for analysis. She's just the most entertaining thing that's happening in wrestling at the moment. So AEW, this was like, I felt like they were kind of getting back on track. This was not one of those times for them.